So, yeah, no, it's lovely to talk to you. Okay, I better go. I've got to go to drinks. Yeah, see you later. Bye. Hi, guys. Actually, this is my really, really lame gag being on the phone before you guys, before we go live. But I actually was on the phone then to a friend who I haven't spoken to for ages. So I told her I had to go and come and talk to you. But that was really nice. Hi, everyone. Oh, Craig, lovely to have you back. I'm glad you got your schedule sorted out this week. And Michael, great to see you. Zach and Jack and Hannah, hello. How are you? And Shell, good to see you guys. Rob and Deb, g'day. Cotty and John, good work. Fish and chips. No, there is nothing worse than cold chips. It's cold fish is not much chop either. So yes, get stuck in. Very good. I've got a couple of other hellos. We've been missing Sam Cross for a little while, and I don't think she's been able to join us, but hopefully some of her family are still there. So Sam, if you're out there, I'm going to email you later tonight or tomorrow morning. So I'm sorry for that. Nina and Pete at the fish and chip shop. Good work. Angela, good evening. Good to see you. Right, closing that. I have to check my emails because I got the most delightful email during the week, and I want to give a big shout out to Robert Levine. Robert, hi. Robert's been watching us from America. I'm not sure. I don't think you're on live, but you watch us when you can. And he wrote me the most delightful email about how he's been here and bought our wine and enjoys the wine, has been enjoying the drinks with Kate. And I really hope that one day you'll be able to come back and visit us again because I'm really looking forward to being able to travel again, but not for the moment. But it's lovely to be able to say hi online anyway. Sharpie and Rod, g'day. Kay's got her fish and chips. Good work. Pete's at home waiting for the fish and chips. Good work, Peter. I have a feeling that everyone's going to be eating fish and chips tonight. I have gone a little bit the other way, and I made myself during the week some dukkha. I've got some olive oil, which I'm not going to hold up because I'll just spill it all down myself. Oh, Kevin, still at work. But Emily, lovely to see you. Glad you made it. And some bread. So I'm going to dip my bread in the oil and then the dukkha. We'll see how that goes later. The dukkha, I warmed up a little bit and then overwarmed and then managed to almost burn my mouth with it earlier while I was testing it out. So I'm just going to leave it for the moment because I'm a bit scared of it now. Anyway, more about that later. It's great to see you all. The sunset was not quite so magnificent tonight and it's all dark out there, so I'm not going to show you. But it's lovely and cozy in here. And it's been such a beautiful day down here on the Mornington Peninsula. I don't know what it's been like in your part of the world, but it's been balmy. It was about 20 degrees. The air was warm. Everything smelt beautiful because all the earth and hello, Frodo. Frodo's just come to say hello. Hang on, Frody, you never say hello to you. Frody, come up here. Nose up here. Nose up. Nose up. Say hi. It's excellent camera work, that dog. Polly understands how to be on the media, but Frody doesn't. Anyway, he's just here saying hi. Jill and Richard have taken the dogs for a walk. It is the sesame seeds, Nina, and also I think the coriander and the hazelnut. The hazelnut oil was just a bit hot, but it smells amazing. Nazare, g'day. How you going, guys? Lovely to see you. Welcome on board. Good to see you. Yeah, it was. Yes, Nina. I knew what you were saying. It has been a stunning day today, and what better day to be drinking a young and fresh Chardonnay. So without any further ado, Polly's smelling my snacks very interestedly. Hello, Paul. Without any further ado, Devil Bean Creek Chardonnay 2020. Now I'm going to get that open and get it into a decanter because it's very young. It's also, I planned to get it out of the fridge half an hour early, and I think I probably got it out of the fridge about 10 minutes ago. So giving it a little decant is going to warm it up a little bit as well. I wonder who else is out there. Linda and Steve are probably out there somewhere. Hi, guys. and Nigel. If you've been down to Celador in the last couple of weeks, you might have met Nigel. Nigel worked for us very briefly before COVID lockdown, and then we didn't have any work for him, sadly. And he's back, which is really exciting. So hi, Nigel. He's back with a vengeance in Celador to help Jeff out, which is, oh, hi, Linda. There you go. She's got the chat working and everything. Wine in decanter. See how cold it is? You can tell it's too cold because it's making the decanter all frosted over. So here we go. Richard's listening to the radio in the other room, I think. They don't have any concept about how annoying that is, but I'm going to be cool and try and ignore it. Angela sent me a photo. Why does our decanter have a stopper? Wouldn't it stop the air? So some decanters, Angela, are made to, oh, what am I looking at? There we go. Some decanters are made to keep things in, and that decanter, Angela, is a beautiful decanter which is made for multiple uses. So you can use it for old wine, and then you want the stopper in to keep it from oxidizing too much. You could also use that decanter to put whiskey or port or a sweet sherry in, and then you could keep it with the stopper in it for quite a while. I think the stoppers really would just, if you've got sort of, if you've got an old wine that you've decanted half an hour before dinner or something like that, or if there are any flies around or anything, you put the stopper in to stop the flies getting into the wine, that sort of thing. But yes, if you're just going to decant it straight into out of the bottle into the decanter and then into the glass, Angela, you don't need to worry about the stopper. Once you've, but the air actually is mostly getting into the wine as you're doing the pouring. So once you've poured it in, and you've also got all that space between the wine and the top of the decanter, all that air is going to have an effect on the wine. So putting a stopper in there to stop little flies getting in and things like that is not going to make a huge difference to the aeration of the wine. So I hope that garbled explanation makes sense. Where's your food, Angela? Send me a photo of your food. What are you eating tonight? Are you guys eating fish and chips too? First of all, while I let this warm up a little bit and swirl it around, good dogs. Frodo's on the sofa. There he is, having a bit of a groom. Stop looking at him grooming himself. Polly's over there in the other corner, looking a bit cranky. She looks like she's about to throw a wobbly. Be a good girl, Polly. Just letting this warm up a little bit. First of all, I want to just check and see that all of you guys got an email from me yesterday about wish I could speak. Oh, Emily, sushi and sashimi sounds fantastic. So is Kevin on his way home, or are you just going to eat the sushi and sashimi by yourself? And he's hoping that there'll be a little bit of wine and a little bit of Japanese food left for him when he gets home. Angela, yeah, it is a bit risky. Oh, pork fillet, that'll be nice. That'll be delicious. Chardonnay's so versatile, isn't it? Now, before we get into the tasting of the Chardonnay, let me ask you a very important question. Did you all get an email from me? In fact, I know the answer for a lot of you because you've already ordered your wine, but we've gone to a slightly different system with the next pack, pack 3, because it's got wine that is officially Wine Club access only at the moment. We had to do our little making sure that you guys are in the Wine Club, which if you didn't get the email from me yesterday with the Wine Club, the curly vine on the top and the offer for the pack, then you need to email me and I will forward you the link and we'll get you into the Wine Club because you guys all need to be in the Wine Club. Oh, Emily, good work. It's not a huge deal. It's just I want to make sure that you guys get the pack before we start the pack. We're releasing those Pinots at the winery on the 16th of May for Wine Club. So some of you, I think, are booked into the lunch. That lunch is now booked out. But if you're coming to the lunch, then you'll get to taste those wines with a couple of back vintages. Oh, fantastic. Good old Linda. Hey, Sharpie and Rod. Everyone's getting on board with the making sure. We all have our people that we know that we deal with. So it's like, oh, have we got I'm like, Jeff, you need to put Angela and Simon on the wine club stat. So there was a bit of scrambling yesterday. So if anyone's been missed, I know, Michael, you got it. I've seen your order come in. Okay, fantastic, excellent. So hopefully the system's working. If it's not, hi, Jeff. Nice to see you. Hope you had a lovely day. Jeff's had a day off today. So good to see you. Yeah, so hopefully the system's working. I got a couple of emails from people who didn't get the email yesterday today, and I forwarded them on, so hopefully that all works. Hi, Victoria. Hello, Peter. I know that you were just testing me out. Yes, I will tell you, Rob, all about it in just a sec. Absolutely. So that's good. That's business out of the way. I just wanted to make sure that was all sorted. And if you've got any questions, if you've got any problems about that, please email me or Jeff and we'll get it sorted out. But that box is going to be very exciting. We're starting at the beginning of June and we'll be tasting the single vineyard Pinots from 2019. Yes, we are. We're working on tightening up the wine club, making it look prettier on the inside and the outside, and it's all part of the ongoing project. I think we need to clone me and Jeff at least twice so that we can get all the stuff that we want to get done almost immediately. And it's one of the awesome things about Nigel coming back to work with us is that just gives us another pair of hands and another brain that understands how everything works here, so that we can, do more stuff quicker. And Peter as well, who's been doing our deliveries, Pete. Some of you will have met Pete. He's been doing deliveries, but he does lots more. He does all the design work for us. He does cooking with Jill for the lunches and also the produce. So, the team is tightening up and kind of growing a little bit, which is really awesome. And we're very lucky to have all the people who are involved here. Linda's keeping us all in line, aren't you, Linda? It's all good. It's all good. And it is, Jeff, the best pack yet, and really something that we've been wanting to try and merge into the wine club for a while, because we think you guys who have been joining us with Drinks for Kate every week, it's such a lovely opportunity to spend some time with one wine, with each other, having a chat. It's really quite awesome. So cheers to that. Let's taste this wine and have a chat about it. I think it's had time to air and open up in the glass. You'll see I'm drinking it in a Pinot glass again. I've got a bit of a penchant for these glasses, but it's not necessary. Polly, that's enough. Thank you. Yeah. Jill and Richard are doing a great job of keeping things under control here. Anyway. Thank you, Rob. I think it's looking delicious as well. Yes, Emily, the pack is called Drinks with Kate Vintage Special. It's also box 2.0, box 3, I think it's labelled as, and you'll know it when you see the description because it's got the 2019 McIntyre, Robinson and Garden Pinots, but it's not on the website as such. It's hidden from just everyday customers. It's only available for people who are in the wine club, and Jeff has made a special link that gets you directly to the order page. So you need to follow that link, and if you've got any problems, just let us know. Cool, wine, excellent. Jill tried to get the dogs to come in, but they're too excited to be talking to you guys. They like to be here in your presence while I'm talking about wine. I think they think that they're helping. St. George's Fish and Chips on St. George's Road. Nice. Excellent. All right. Beautiful, bright, sort of greeny lemon colour in this wine. It's very, very young, and we usually don't release or drink our wines quite this young. But the 2020 Chardonnay came hot on the heels. We've had an issue with Chardonnay quantities and supply and demand recently, which is weird because only 10, 12 years ago, people were saying that they were never going to drink Chardonnay again. And I think that the that Chardonnay consumption has grown, and people have understood that really good Chardonnay is really worth seeking out. And so we're having trouble keeping up with demand, particularly for this wine. This is our Devil Bend Creek Chardonnay. So most of it gets sold through our distributors. And 2020 was a really small vintage. Excuse me, I've got an itchy eye. It's lovely. Shell, how beautiful. Yeah, the homemade dukkha is amazing and really great with the Chardonnay. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But I think the potatoes and parsnip and onion and carrot sounds awesome. Roast veggies, just great with a young Chardonnay. So 2020 was quite a small vintage as far as quantity was concerned, but quality was way up there, particularly with the Chardonnay. And this wine is usually made from fruit just from the Osborne Vineyard, which is down the other end of Derrill Road past Deb and Rob's place, just on Foxy's hangout, just on Foxy's Road corner. And we've been taking fruit from here for a really long time. Yes, Michael, but unfortunately not with Devil Bend Creek Chardonnay, because we haven't sold any of our wine to China for the last 2 years. So there'll be other wines out there, but probably not the ones that necessarily you want to buy. There'll be lots of bargains, but they might not be the wines that you're necessarily chasing. But anyway, that's all well and good. For us, this year, the 2020 Chardonnay, we made 2.5 pallets, which is about 130, 140 cases of wine, which is nothing. Usually in a year we'll sell through about 600 to 1,000 cases of this wine. So you can imagine how much of a shortfall this is. We released 56 cases to our Victorian distributor, who'd sold out of the 19 over summer and had a couple of restaurants pouring it, and they basically took it, sold it, poured it. As soon as we released it, we bottled this wine in late December, and we released it to them only 3 weeks later. And I think it was probably all sold and drunk before it even had a chance to really settle completely from the bottling, which is a little bit of a shame, because we think that this is probably the best Devil Bend Creek Chardonnay that we've made. And part of the reason is the quality of the vintage. And as I say, there is still quite a lot of Osborne fruit in here, but there's also fruit from the new Chardonnay in the McIntyre vineyard, which has gone in here, because the Osborne Chardonnay was the best that we've ever had. And just blending it a little bit with what we had from here, just kind of gave a little bit of extra complexity, a little bit of extra fruit that makes this wine a really lovely early drinking style. I haven't tasted it yet, Cotty. Let me put some in my mouth. So yeah, it's so young. It's really tight. It's very it's like almost like lemon sherbet or something like that. It's got this lovely tingle to it from the acid and from the very bright, fresh, restrained citrus fruit. I don't get spritz as such, Cotty, but when I poured it out, there's a little bit of a bubble there, and there's usually a little bit of dissolved CO2 in a young wine that will give you a slightly spritzy character, but also the acid, that fresh, tangy acid, will make it seem more spritzy and more sort of tangy and tingly. So that's, I think, what you're getting there. And also the fruit hasn't had a chance to sort of to soften out and to be a little bit more expressive. So it's all about that zingy citrus. It's almost like a Japanese kind of yuzu kind of a flavour there, because it's got that lovely brightness of fruit. It's got a sourness, but it's also got that little kind of sweet citrus character coming through as well. So I think that's, and I agree, Craig, it's still taking time to open up. It's opening up quite slowly. And if you do drink it slowly enough, then you'll see it changing quite a lot in the glass over the next sort of half an hour to an hour, particularly as it warms up. and it's really lovely. I think with a wine like this, a nice day helps, and it probably should have opened it a couple of hours ago and sat in the sun and drunk it, but, you know, we've all got work to do, unfortunately, during the daytime. It's still quite warm and lovely. I tell you what, the Yukon Gold potatoes, Shell and Jeff, are absolutely delicious. They've got the most incredible flavour and texture to them, and would be awesome with that crunchy, spicy dukkha on top. Would be unreal. Jeff, I think did you get them down here, Shell? Because I think that you're based up in Melbourne. The Yukon Golds, I think that the guys at Torello often have them, so they're definitely worth seeking out. Really super. Yeah, absolutely, Rob. So not all of our wines and not all of our Devil Bean Creek Chardonnays have looked this gorgeous at such a young age. But even when the wine was in barrel, when we were trying to decide what to put into the Devil Bean Creek and what to put into the estate wine, we almost didn't make a Devil Bean Creek at all, because we didn't really have enough fruit for the estate wine or for the single vineyard wines. And everything's going to be in short supply Chardonnay-wise in 2020. The Pinots also were quite small crops, but not quite as drastically reduced as the Chardonnays. So we made the decision. It was, to be honest with you guys, it was a commercial decision to have a little bit of Devil Bean Creek Chardonnay to release to the marketplace to try and appease our restaurant customers who have been selling and working through this wine for a long time. And we've always worked at oh, Craig, that's very sad. You have to grow some in sacks on your balcony. I'm just spilling Chardonnay everywhere, trying not to get it on my computer though. But this wine for me doesn't have often. Very young Chardonnay will have an estery character to it, almost that we talked about lolly bananas a couple of weeks ago, I think, and this one doesn't. This is oh, Michael, my finger. That's a winery winemaking injury, and it actually, that never hurt at all. It's the other finger, my middle finger, and I'll hold it up close to the camera. You might be able to see there's an interesting scar just across my knuckles there, and I managed to. It felt like I nearly chopped my finger off when I did it. It was a metal against metal with my finger in between while I was stirring up a tank full of wine to get it ready for putting to barrel. Chardonnay juice actually, and I chonked my finger, and everyone else has heard this story, so I won't go on about it. But it was quite dramatic and exciting at the time, and it's a lot better now, thank you. But it does look rather dramatic. I keep thinking I should put some nail polish on, but it's a bit of a war wound from vintage 2021. Shell, you are very passionate about the old Yukon Gold, aren't you? That's good. That's very good. I think is it officially the world's best potato, or just in your humble opinion? So this wine, I was saying, often for me, new Chardonnay will have that lolly banana kind of estery character to it, and this wine is so tight and so pure and so beautiful. I don't think it's got any of those characters that put me off really young Chardonnay. I think that any bottles of this Devil Bean Creek Chardonnay that get a chance to go into a cellar for even 6 to 12 months, maybe a couple of years, will do really good things, because it's got fabulous structure, beautiful fruit purity, and this wine doesn't see any new oak, so that's why you've got all that lovely brightness of fruit and purity without anything else getting in the way, complexing things perhaps, but also getting in the way of that gorgeous fruit. But wild yeast fermented still, and full malolactic fermentation still, natural. So the wine's found its own balance, and that fruit is the quality of the fruit's really coming through in the wine and looking really super. As I said, we sold 56 cases to our distributor in Melbourne and 56 to our distributor in New South Wales. Our Queensland distributors haven't taken this wine for about 3 years, so they didn't get an allocation. And we've got about, I don't know, Linda, 15, 20 cases max left at the winery for people to buy while it's still available. Are you right there, Frodo? You okay? Having a little cough. So if you like this wine and you want to get some into your cellar, into your glasses for the next little while, then do make sure that you actually it's not, probably less. I'm not even sure if it's on the shop. So if it's not on the shop, Jeff, is it on the shop? I'm very well organised today. If it's not on the shop, just send Jeff an email tomorrow, because he hasn't got very much to do tomorrow. So he'd love to take your orders for Devil Bean Creek Chardonnay. That would be awesome. And we'll just get it all sold, get it all into your cellars, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. I might have to buy a case myself though, because I think it's delicious. Michael, malolactic is not needed for full expression. So the malolactic conversion is something that's become very contentious in Australian winemaking particularly. And I think it all stems from the fact that people in the 80s and 90s were growing Chardonnay in warmer climates. They were getting it riper. And the malic acid, the percentage of malic acid compared to total acid in the grape juice was quite high. And so then we had learnt in Australia to make Chardonnay from the Americans, that a lot of Australian winemakers went to America, went to UC Davis in California, did a winemaking course, learnt about how Americans made their Chardonnay, and they did full malolactic fermentation. They did lots of new oak. They wanted to get the fruit really ripe, so you got lots of fruit expression as well. And we made these incredible fruit bombs, which in the early days were incredibly admired, because the Chardonnays that were being grown and made in France, for example, in Burgundy and in Chablis, was sort of the opposite. They were quite lean, they were quite tight, they were quite fine. And people were amazed by the expression of fruit in these Chardonnays from Australia in the 80s and early 90s. And they called the wine Sunshine in a Glass. And so over about, a 15, 20-year time frame, people got really sick of those flavour profiles and kind of went, I'm a bit sick of all that butter and oak and pineapple juice and mango, because the really ripe fruit was quite tropical fruited. We weren't getting those lovely citrus and white stone fruit characters that we see in lovely, elegant, cool climate Chardonnay these days. And so they were getting the grapes really ripe, all those tropical fruit characters, and they were putting them in lots of new oak. So you're getting lots of vanilla and coconut and some cedar characters from the oak. And then they were putting the wines through full malolactic conversions when maybe the wine didn't have enough natural acidity anyway. And it's certainly the percentage of malic acid in the juice was a lot higher than you'd ideally want to see. So you were getting this conversion from malic acid, which is the acid that you see in green apples, to lactic acid, which is that softer, creamier acid you see in milk and cheese and cream. And with the malo bug that everyone was adding to the wine to do that conversion, because it's not a yeast fermentation, it's a microbe. It's a bug that you put in the wine, and it changes the acid. And people were using a specific strain of malo bug that added a really buttery flavour to the wine as well. And sometimes when it went too far, it sort of tasted like rancid butter. So it all got too much, too big, too fat, too soft, too round. And there was an expression back in the 90s that people coined, talking about Dolly Parton wines, that were sort of a lot up front, but not a lot of follow through. And these very voluptuous Chardonnays, people got sick of the flavour profile. And so then we went the other way, and a lot of people now in Australia still are very worried about having a malolactic fermentation in a Chardonnay, because they think that it's going to make the wine lose its structure. But as you can see from this wine, if you have already quite low natural malic acid percentage of acid in the wine, and you've got good natural acidity altogether, and the other acid that we're looking at is tartaric acid, naturally occurring in grape juice, this conversion of malic acid to lactic acid doesn't give you that big swing in acid Yes, Nina, I think Dolly Parton is awesome. So don't get me wrong, I quite like those Dolly Parton wines, but people want something a bit slinkier and a little bit less obvious these days. But the Angela, are you getting cross with me about the Dolly Parton comment as well? I'm sorry, I apologise. We'll take that back. Sunshine in a Glass wines became very much synonymous with Australia, and also from people saying, yes, she's awesome and amazing and an amazing singer, and she's also, I think she's incredible, the way she's actually created her persona to be exactly what she wants it to be. Good on her. But Dolly Parton in person is awesome. Too much Dolly Parton in Chardonnay can be a little bit too much. The imitators never do it as well as the original. How's that? Have I redeemed myself a little bit? Oh, Craig, I'll try and come back to that, but it is a bit off topic today, but I'll try and get back to that, I promise. So malolactic fermentation, just to finish that long, rambly, not very PC conversation about malolactic fermentation. These days, I think it's a personal choice of the winemaker whether they want to allow their Chardonnay to go through a malolactic fermentation or not. And down here on the Mornington Peninsula, some people avoid them like the... Absolutely. That's correct, Angela. She's awesome. Our hero, everyone's hero. I apologise, Dolly. I will never compare you to a 1980s, 1990 Australian Chardonnay ever again. I must say I didn't coin the phrase either. So I'm stepping slowly away from that comment and trying to get back to your good books and your respect again. I'm sorry, everyone, for using an inappropriate comparison to the wine. Malolactic fermentation, Michael, is not needed for full expression, but we believe here at Moorooduc Estate that it does give the wine a little bit of extra texture in the mid-palate. We don't lose too much acidity when we allow the wine to go through, particularly in a year like this, and it does just give it a little bit of creaminess in the mid-palate. And so you've got these wines, because we're picking the fruit, the vines are older, we're picking the fruit a little bit earlier. Our winemaking is a little bit more sensitive. We don't use very much new oak. In fact, for this wine, no new oak at all. So a full malo is appropriate. Thank you, Angela. Thank you for forgiving me. Cheers, everyone, to elegant, beautiful Chardonnay. Craig. I'm not even going to go there. I've already got myself into enough trouble tonight. I'm going to make myself a little snack while I get over my social gaffes of the evening. So a bit of Richard's bread. It is a couple of days old, but it's still pretty good, and you soak it in some olive oil. That helps. Makes the dukkha stick on. It also adds flavour. And then Kate puts it in her mouth and can't speak for a minute. So thank you, Rob. So dukkha, good bread, olive oil, lots of nuttiness, spiciness, coriander, fennel, a little bit of dried mint, lots of deliciousness in there. And it just is a really lovely juxtaposition to the freshness and the citrusy lemoniness of this wine. That lemoniness, that citrusy character, and that lovely fresh acidity works really well as well with your fish and chips, because what do we like to put on fish and chips? Well, it's fried potatoes and fried fish and whatever else you decide to get from your fish and chip shop. But we always squeeze a bit of lemon juice or a bit of lime juice or a bit of cider vinegar or something like that. This wine does exactly that job, but better, more elegantly than those other acid sauces do. So great with oysters, fresh oysters as well. I probably should have put that in the email on Monday, but, you know, that's all right. Great anywhere that you need a little zing of, a little squeeze of sort of lemon acidity, then a young Chardonnay like this can work really, really well. Cotty, no, all red wines go through a malolactic fermentation. all red wines. So it's not an optional extra for red wine making. A lot of white wines don't go through malolactic fermentation, but here at Moorooduc Estate, we make 2 white wines, Chardonnay and Pinot Gris, and they both go through 100% malolactic fermentation. That's not a hard and fast rule, but it tends to be what happens in most years, with the exception of a difficult year like 2011, where we and to stop wine from going through malolactic fermentation, you have to make sure that there are no viable bugs in the wine. So you need to give it a good dose of sulfur. You probably need to chill it down, and maybe, to be super safe, sterile filter it, so you're getting everything out of the wine so it can't go through that malolactic conversion. So allowing the wine to go through a malolactic fermentation makes the wine more stable in the long run, because once it's gone through, it can't go through again. Whereas the worst thing you can do is not have the wine fully stable, put it in a bottle, and then it goes through malolactic fermentation, because then you get cloudy wine with unpleasant characters in the bottle. So better to manage it before the wine's finished and bottled. Who else is asking? Chico Roll, good Pete, excellent, very classy. Emily, I actually think this is going to be a bit controversial, because most of this wine will get drunk before the end of the month, probably. Most of this wine will get drunk very soon, but I reckon Angela and Simon, you're very naughty. Coming back to that in a minute. This wine will age really well for at least 5 to 8 years, probably longer. I actually have a little bit of older Devil Bean Creek Chardonnay just hidden away to look at every now and again. Some years it's fallen over, some years it's aged really nicely. You just lose the brightness of fruit and the vibrancy that you get in such a young wine as it ages, but it changes and does cool things. So this wine, if you bought a dozen of it and you just stashed a couple of bottles at the back of the cellar and forgot about it for 5 to 8 years, then you might find yourself with something pretty super special at the end of it. That's not to say that it's not the sort of wine that you can just drink over the and wait for the next vintage to come out. You guys are being naughty now. Right, let me read. Rob, I think Cossie's probably given you the best. Fish and chips on the peninsula is hard. Jill makes good fish and chips, but not for everyone, not even for me often. Kay. Oh, that's a really difficult question. I will try and answer that now. Kay's asking about smoke taint in 2020, and we were really, really lucky here that we were a long way away from the closest bushfires, but there are some people who are seeing a little bit of we ate oh God, you guys are hilarious. Shell, stop it. I'm trying to be serious. Okay, I'm coming back to you, Kay, with that answer. I'm going to deal with Shell, stop it. I'm trying to be serious. Okay, I'm coming back to you, Kay, with that answer. I'm going to deal with these naughty people first. Simon's idea is to describe the wine with not food and spice comparisons, only celebrity names. So absolutely, we can do that one of these days soon. Craig, I'm not sending you out a clean skin. You can name it. Well, maybe one day, but that will take a little bit of planning, because everything's bottled and labelled that is bottled at the moment. So I'll take that one on notice. Yes, this can't be in her locomotion period. Thank you, Kay. Shell, Dame Judy Dench's M. Fantastic. Great. Lovely. Love your work, team. Celebrity pairing is always cool. The other thing that we were noticing, because I joined a couple of other wine clubs just to see how other people are doing it. We got a case of wine from SC Panel this week, and the packaging's beautiful. It's amazing. I'm not going to show you, because then you'll expect us to do the same thing, and we're not quite ready for that yet. But Steve Pennell is a bit of a cool old groover, and he, on his back labels, he matches his wine not only to food but to music. So you can also do that. Tell us what music you think is the best music to listen to while you're drinking this wine. So do that. So Kay wanted to know about smoke taint. So let me give you a serious answer to that quite quickly. So the issue with smoke taint in red wine is that a lot of the smoke taint was on the skins of the grapes. So if you're fermenting the wine with the skins in the ferment, then the smoke taint gets transferred into the wine. Whereas with Chardonnay, or making a rosé or white wine from red grapes, if you press it off and get it off the skins as quickly as possible, then you minimise the amount of smoke taint that's affecting the wine, and you can make really lovely, fresh, bright, easy drinking wine. Jill is saying goodbye to her dog because she's going out, very busy. So you guys go out every Thursday night. I know. Oh, excellent. Oh, thank you. Have a lovely night. They're going to a wine tasting. They're going to taste Pinot Noir, aren't you? Yeah. See you later, Richard. I'll lock the doors. Yeah. No worries. Okay, thanks. Bye. Got a housekeeping sorted out. Yes, link to the Spotify list. Peter could be in charge of that. Absolutely, I think. So if anyone has any tunes that they think that this wine inspires, then flick them on through, and we'll see what we can do about a wine tasting Spotify list. I think that would be quite good. Raf finds he's quite nice. I've completely lost the plot now. So did I finish explaining about smoke taint? Oh, yeah. Also, white wine generally gets drunk quicker than red wine, and smoke taint gets worse as the wine is bottled. And Shell, you are absolutely getting Britney Spears later years. I turned on Rage the other Saturday night, I think it was, or Friday night, and there was like all the Britney Spears songs that she's ever had hits with, and it was awesome. It made me very happy. Wine tasting disco, oh my God. So we've got to go on some wine tasting trips. You've all got to come down to Moorooduc. We've got to do a wine tasting disco, and now I've got to provide you with an unlabeled bottle that you can name yourself. It's all getting far too complicated. I think I'll just have another drink and leave it at that. Guys, it's been awesome. Please, if you didn't get my email, oops, I did it again. Indeed, thank you, Jeff. I knew you'd be a fan of that one. One of my favourite songs from the 90s when I lived with Chris and Martin. They are not watching, but they should be. Chris and Martin, I'm getting you on the YouTube live one of these days soon. So next week we are. I'm ignoring you now, Nina. I'm not really. I'm listening to all of the suggestions. Thank you, Steve, Katie Lang. Yes, excellent. We have a very eclectic selection of music, I've got to say, from all you guys. It's bringing lots of different free jazz. Rob, you know what the rule is? Well, maybe you don't. The rule about jazz here at Moorooduc, particularly free jazz, Jill and Richard, their brains will explode if they have to listen to that stuff. They're very open-minded about most things. But free jazz is something that makes particularly Richard very angry. So maybe have that conversation with him next time you're here picking up bread on a Saturday or Sunday morning. I think that would be quite funny. Next, I think we've got there. I think we're done. I think we're just losing the plot now. So I'm going to say to you guys, next week, Magic Stalk Shiraz 2020. We're going another 2020 wine. The Magic Stalk Shiraz. This is Jeremy's special project. I have requested I've requested Jeremy's. Yes, the wheels are definitely off, Shell. It's it was pretty wild the last week, but very raw last week. This week it's just going crazy. I'm losing control of the situation, so I'm gonna have to leave you all in a minute. Magic Stalk Shiraz next week. Jeremy hopefully is coming in to have a bit of a chat about that as well. It's his project. We had the 19 last year. We're actually going to have the 19 in the next box because we want to see how it's evolving. But the 20 is next week. The week after next week, we're having a break because I'm going to Shepparton to see my aunt and my uncle and my cousins, and I won't be back in time to do drinks with Kate at 6 o'clock. So unless you guys can find someone to sit in for me and be as awesome as me at 6 o'clock, you can have a break and entertain yourselves the week after next. And then the week after that, we'll do a cocktail. We'll talk about that next week. I will see you all soon. I'll see you in a week's time. If you haven't ordered your pack 3 yet, get onto it. It's jolly good. It's a fantastic pack of wine. It's really, really awesome. Check and Zach Magic Man. You can do whatever you like in the safety of your own home. But yes, I'm not endorsing that at all. You guys are also naughty. Hendrix with the magic stalks. Absolutely. All right, you guys. It's been real. Peace out. Cheers, everyone. Have some more Chardonnay. Have some more fish and chips. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you all. Thank you. I'm guessing who just texted me, but thank you. I just got a little text popping up. Thank you, guys. I will see you all again next week. Take care. Happy Chardonnay Thursday. Ciao.